This program is made possible by the support of Delta Dental, Quick Trip, Marshfield Clinic Health System, Wisconsin Counties Association, Wisconsin Hospital Association. Watch WisconsinEye on Spectrum Channels 995 and 363 and at wiseye.org.
What they haven't done is act. They haven't taken action to solve and address the problems of our crumbling roads and infrastructure in the state of Wisconsin. What Governor Evers has proposed is a responsible transportation solution and a sustainable budget into the future. It's also a budget that's going to benefit every single corner of the state of Wisconsin. So if you ride in a big car or a little one, if you're in an urban city or a rural road, you're going to benefit from this budget. We don't pick winners and losers. We make the investments that are needed in every single corner of the state of Wisconsin. So today, our debate is really about leadership. Democrats stand with Governor Evers and his leadership to address this problem. Wisconsinites can't wait any longer. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my colleague, Representative Chris Taylor.
Yeah, go ahead. No, okay.
Hello, everybody. So one thing my Republican colleagues have perfected over the last 8 years, and that is the art of stalling. We have heard every excuse in the book for why they can't fix our roads. It seriously reminds me of my 12-year-old son when he does not want to practice the violin. I hear every excuse in the book. We have heard, we got to study it. Well, we've studied it to death. We've heard from Representative Voss, we can't fix the roads because there are terrorists in the Senate. We have had a governor who, he didn't even want to drive on the roads. He preferred to fly, our last governor. He didn't want to deal with the roads. And now we're in a situation where, by some measures, we have some of the worst roads in the nation. Now we have a governor who ran on fixing the roads, and guess what? He proposed a long-term sustainable plan to fix the roads. His plan makes about a $6.6 billion investment. He generates about approximately $600 million new revenue dollars to fix our local roads, to make those investments in our state highway system, and to invest in something everybody wants all over the state, and that is transit. We heard a lot about this issue. We've heard about it from seniors, individuals with disabilities, young professionals who they don't want cars, they want to be able to hop on a bus. And this governor makes a substantial investment in transit as well. So he does what he said he would do. This governor fulfilled his promise, and this is a really good plan. It's a very, very solid plan. It's also going to reduce our debt, the percentage of debt service that we're making. I mean, that has gone up. If you look at the LFB tables, we're now at a little over 19% of our transportation revenues going to debt service. And the governor makes sure that we are lowering that. So it's a very responsible budget. It's a very comprehensible budget. It's a very sustainable budget to really make the investments we need in our transportation infrastructure.
Thanks, Chris. I'm John Erpenbach. Everything I've seen out of the Republican ideas that have been floated, whether they've been floated quietly or been floated publicly, absolutely lets out-of-state drivers coming through Wisconsin completely off the hook. The fairest way to deal with our transportation system right now is what Governor Evers has proposed with the increase in the gas tax to make sure whether you're coming up from Illinois, Iowa, down from Minnesota, whatever, that everybody pays their fair share to make sure that our roads are going to be in better shape than they were yesterday. So the idea that the Republicans want to take one-time money and give it to the counties, well, guess what? The cities and the villages don't get that money. The idea that the Republicans want to raise the registration fee completely, like I said, lets out-of-state drivers off the hook. They use our roads. They should help pay for our roads. And again, compare that to what Governor Evers did. We haven't raised the gas tax or had that kind of revenue in our transportation budget in probably the last 12 or 13 years. Our roads show it. And the idea that the Republicans have borrowed and tried to patch their way out of this for the last 8 years just simply won't work anymore. And if you want to look at it from an economic standpoint, you can't talk about how you want a strong economy here in the state and you want businesses to thrive if our infrastructure is absolutely crumbling. So we are calling on the Republicans to take what Tony Evers has proposed very, very seriously. Republicans decided on, but again, if you're going to let out-of-state drivers off the hook, it's absolutely irresponsible. With that, we'll take questions that you have.
What time do you think?
Oh, sorry.
What time do you think you'll convene?
What's that?
What time do you think you'll actually start?
I think Vegas has us at 3 o'clock, so I don't know what the over and under on that is. I'm hearing maybe 3 o'clock.
It seems the gas tax is really the most contentious piece of the plan that people are arguing about, whether it be Republican, or, you know, with you guys. What is your take on that, and how do you think you'll move forward from that?
Well, it's really a Republican issue right now. The Assembly Republicans, I believe, are open to a gas tax increase. The Senate Republicans are not. But at the end of the day, that is the fairest way to deal with transportation. The people who use the roads the most will pay to use those roads. And again, the gas tax does force out-of-state drivers to chip in and help pay for our roads. Registration fee increases won't do that. Spending one-time money to try and fix a long-term solution won't do that either.
And what does the gas tax increase look like? I know over like the 2-year plan, it would increase a little bit. What does that look like for people?
As far as
I know it goes from like 0.8 to
8 cents and then 8 cents a gallon and then indexing a penny every year.
Much cheaper than the estimated $637 people are paying now to fix their cars because of the roads, because the roads are so bad. So it's a much cheaper way to, for people, it's a much more economical way to make sure we're making these investments. But also people are paying for the Republicans' inability to come up with a plan that fixes their roads. The other thing we heard about in the finance hearings was, I believe there were a couple agricultural producers who came and talked about how they were having trouble moving their goods off their farms because the roads were so bad. So this is really an economic issue. You know we've fallen behind over the last 8 years. We had the recent Bureau of Labor statistic that last year we were 39th in the nation for job growth. If you just look at the headlines over the last few months, they're very alarming economically for our state. You know, they show that our wages haven't kept pace with the national average, and that educated people are leaving our state. We're the 8th highest in the nation for losing educated individuals. So we really need to be making these public investments to thrive, and a big piece of that is making sure we have a strong road infrastructure.
The Marquette poll shows there is broad support for putting more money toward roads, but also strong opposition to raising the gas tax. Does that cause you to rethink where you're at and maybe look for a different funding mechanism rather than the gas tax?
Not necessarily, because again, the gas tax is the fairest way to deal with it, and for the most part, people see exactly where that money's going for. It's going to make the roads better. It's going to take care of our infrastructure as best as we possibly can. Raising any tax is never a popular thing to do, but at the same time, I do think the majority of the people clearly understand we have a problem with our roads. And the only way to fix that is to make sure that we have enough revenue to make the roads as safe as we possibly can.
And, you know, if you look at the Fiscal Bureau paper on the revenue, they make a point that cars, the average person is driving a car now that gets about 23 miles per hour. In 2006, it was about 20. And they have a point in there that people are actually not paying as much as they did back in 2006, about 5 cents less a gallon, because their cars have, and a lot of our cars have become more efficient. And so, you know, we really think it's part of, it's a big piece of a long-term solution. It's not the only piece, but it's an important piece.
So one of the ideas being floated around the Republican legislature legislature right now is a $10 increase to the vehicle registration fee. Could I get you to comment on that? Do you think what are your thoughts on that?
If you take a look at the history of our state, our fees have been relatively low on transportation because our gas tax has been a little bit higher than average. And what's happened over the course of time is our fees have started to creep up a little bit. That being said, raising the registration fee is not the way to go simply because it's not the fairest way to deal with the roads. You're going to be raising someone's registration fee by $10 who might use their car once or twice a week. You're going to be raising someone's registration fee by $10 who uses their car every single day. So again, the idea of fees versus the gas tax, it's just a matter of fairness. And I can't stress this enough. You can raise the registration fees, but that's not going to get the Illinois drivers, the Iowa drivers, the Minnesota drivers, or anybody else venturing through our great state. Gas tax is the fairest way to deal with it. Yes.
So, what in your opinion is the distinction between the gas tax versus toll roads, and why are you going for one or the other?
Toll roads, transportation needs money right now. Toll roads will take at least 4 years. You need federal approval. And it doesn't do anything to fix the problem or start to address the problem immediately. We need money in transportation right now, and we've needed it the last couple of budget cycles at least. So toll roads, they're not quick enough. Again, what the governor has proposed, in our eyes, is the fairest way to get money into transportation today.
And because of federal restrictions, you can't do a comprehensive tolling system in the state. And that's another point actually made by the Fiscal Bureau in their papers. It would be, even if you could do it, you have to get permission from the federal government to do it, but there's all kinds of restrictions on it. And one of the points that the Fiscal Bureau brings up is to do some kind of regional tolling that people can't get around would be pretty difficult to do.
Jamal?
Anything else? All right, thank you.
See you at 3 or 4.
Ish.
Or 6.
Or 5.
We don't know.
Or tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow.